The stars loomed like scattered diamonds against the inky canvas of space, vast and chillingly beautiful. A deep silence enveloped the Elysium, a slick silver spacecraft that drifted through the cosmos toward the twin planets of Guladorn Prime and Gulad. Orn-I, a system recently famed for its ambitious endeavor of establishing the first human colony beyond Earth. To many, the Guladorn system represented hope, a new beginning for mankind. To Captain Amina Calloway, it symbolized the weight of responsibility. A small command room nestled under the glowing dome of the control deck hummed with activity. The screens blinked warm orange and cool blues, illuminating the faces of the crew members in the center. Amina tapped nervously at her console. At first glance, one might think her demeanor belied her title, but her brow was furrowed with concern. She leaned toward the display, squinting in concentration. Status report. She requested, her voice steady despite the tension that underscored her words. Logan, the gruff mechanic with an ever-present 5 o'clock shadow, glanced up from the machinery diagram sprawled across his console. A laugh rumbled deep in his throat. "You won't believe this, Captain. Communications are running smoothly. Navigation's fine, engines purring like a kitten, no volcanoes, tsunamis, or asteroid collisions. You're doing a great job of thinking this. It's been too smooth, Logan," she replied, a hint of annoyance threading through her tone. "Weeks without a single communication with the Elysium colony is not normal. Maybe it's just quiet," muttered Karina, a biologist with bright green hair and a seemingly infinite supply of optimism. She was seated at the far end of the command room, flipping through a holographic display of flora samples with evident fascination. "They could be busy building habitats. Takes time. We should have received periodic updates." Ina countered. "At least an automated system check. The delay is concerning, or they are simply waiting for us to arrive before sharing all their juicy secrets," chimed in Divin, the ship's piloting prodigy, his fingers dancing over the controls like an expert pianist with an easy swagger. He grinned at him, Ina, his white teeth gleaming against his dark skin. "I mean, we are sort of a big deal. We shouldn't be dismissive," Amina said, trying to keep an even tone. "Colonization is an uncertain venture. We owe it to them to check in." "No one said we weren't checking in," Logan said, shooting both Karina and Divin a sidelong glance. "But we can't exactly chase shadows. Whatever they're doing down there is their business. Unless they need help," Amina replied, her voice maintaining its fierce edge. "And if something went wrong, we're going to be the only ones who can help them." The tension in the air thickened, ephemeral in its intensity, but powerful enough to grip the thoughts of each crew member. Amina's unsettled mind spun like a reel of film. Visions of an idyllic colony annihilated by disaster danced beneath her eyelids, while heavy fears like iron anchors pulled her toward the darkness of possibilities. Finally, she took a steadying breath and turned back to her console. "We're approaching the designated coordinates. I want to run another sweep of their communication frequencies before we deploy." Logan shrugged. "I doubt it'll give us anything new. It might feel more like banging a rock against a wall." "I'd rather bang rocks than be unprepared," Amina insisted as she punched in a few commands. The tension began to simmer as they settled into a pattern, each member of the crew returning to their tasks. Logan returned to the machinery diagrams, albeit with a lingering sideways glance at Amina. Divin straightened up, putting his feet flat on the floor as he focused intently on the course ahead. Karina, however, cowed suppress her curiosity about their destination. "But Captain, what if they're just unharmed? What if they're simply enjoying the quiet?" she asked, a glimmer of hope in her eyes as she imagined the pristine landscapes of Guladorn. Amina met her gaze, her heart searching for a way to dispel the heavy uncertainty swirling above them. In an ideal world, that would be wonderful. But even idyllic scenarios need some sort of rhythm. Time passed in relative silence as the ship glided over the bright clouds encircling Guladorn Prime, a planet that had so far evaded the taint of human intervention. There was a beauty in the gentle waves of shimmering blues and greens beneath them, a captivating allure that promised new beginnings. Just 3 days prior, they had witnessed the planet from the outer orbit, a swirling heavenly body spinning gracefully like a ballerina in a cosmic symphony. Yet here they were now poised on the edge of a cliff, waiting for validation that their next step was a leap of faith won int. The unknown Captain Divin spoke up again after a long sigh. We're getting weird readings off their communications grid. The frequencies are there, but they pulse like an erratic heart. I wouldn't call it normal by any stretch. The room drew taut, an electric atmosphere battling hope and hesitation like a cork in a bottle. Amina hovered over his shoulder, scanning the interference patterns displayed on the screen. Does that mean their systems are failing or they might be trying to communicate? Karina interrupted, her voice both excited and apprehensive. That could mean something. Maybe the colony is still functional after all. If we can only pull the signal out, then we'll jolt them back to life. Amina finished stilling her resolve. Let's refine the frequency. Divin, you stay on it. Push out as far as you can. Something formidable shadowed the tension in the air, whispering across the fabric of reality. As Amina analyzed the screen, pulse patterns transformed, blurring into sharp irregularities that hinted at deeper anxieties waiting to surface. It was then that her light flashed, furious crimson caution tinged the air in thin strands of electricity. Captain Logan's voice carefully broke through the tension. External communication just came online. Amina's heart raced as the sound of static sputtered to life in her head. Set shapes flickered on the screen, ghostly and barely decipherable. She leaned closer, squinting. We are stand by the colony. Dark. Request assistance. The chilling echo shook her resolve as the final prismatic pulse flashed and faded in. You silence. Go again, Amina commanded, desperation in her tone. The sound re-earned, distorted through the void, and before her vision a faint silhouette urged on the screen, a frame moving in and out of reality, struggling to materialize. We need help, colony. Dark. The final words echoed hauntingly, filled with urgency and fear. A piercing chill trickled down Amina's spine, flooding her veins with dread. This was just a breakdown. Something more insidious lurked among the shadows of Gulad, or an eye, and the colony had descended into darkness as anxiety sizzled in the air. All eyes turned to Amina. What do you want to do, Captain? Divin asked, his voice laced with a mix of trepidation and fascination. We find them, she said, the determination settling in her chest like a stone, anchoring her indecision. If there's darkness, we're going to unfurl it, and we'll find the truth, no matter how deep and dark it hides. The crew nodded, their resolve hardening in the face of the unknown. As the Elysium readied its instruments, Captain Calloway's heart thrummed with the reality of her command in that harrowing instant. Their destinies intertwined, and the flickering uncertainty morphed in the seeds of an adventure that would test their souls in ways they couldn't foresee. As the whispering stars bore witness to their resolve, Captain Calloway braved the silence of space, forging ahead toward the ghostly promise of Guladorn, hoping against hope to confront whatever shadows lay ahead. The hum of the Elysium reverberated gently in the quiet spaces that remained between the crew members, each of them consumed by their own thoughts as they prepared for the unknown that thrummed ominously just ahead. Amina hovered between determination and concern, the weight of her responsibilities pressing against her with every heart. But as she gathered her team in the command room, they had ventured far across time and space in pursuit of hope. And now that very hope felt distant, shrouded in a gathering darkness. All right, everyone listen up, Amina began, her voice measured but firm. We're approaching Gulad. We need to be ready for anything. Divin, keep communicating with the colony on a loop. Logan, keep the engines primed. We may need to make a quick escape. Karina, I want a detailed analysis of the biosignatures in the vicinity. We need to know what we're getting into. Got it, Captain Divin replied, tension evident in his voice. He maintained his confident posture, but Amina caught the glimmer of fear in his eyes. Don't worry, I'll make sure they hear us. As her crew dispersed to their respective tasks, Amina felt a swell of appreciation wash over her. They were more than just colleagues. They were a makeshift family formed aboard a ship that had become a second home. Each of them brought a unique strength to the team. Logan, with his steadfast dedication and practical ingenuity. Karina, whose unwavering positivity illuminated even the darkest moments, and Divan, whose unshakable belief in the impossible inspired everyone around him. They were all grappling with their fears yet navigating their uncertainties together, as the minutes wore on. The atmosphere within the command room shifted subtly. The soft sounds of tapping keys and gentle whirring of machinery became a kind of rhythm, a shared understanding that hummed beneath the surface. Amina found solace in these familiar sounds. The ship felt cope. And in purpose, a fragile but potent reminder of their mission. She stole glance at each crew member as they worked, and despite the uncertainty looming ahead, there was warmth nestled within the heart of their labor. Captain Karina called out, her voice cutting through Amina's thoughts. I just detected by signatures about to click south of our landing spot. It looks like. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. It's a living organism, not unlike some terrestrial plants, but adapted for the higher gravity here. It could mean that life on Galadorn I is more complex than we anticipated. Amina stepped closer to Karina's station, leaning in to see the holographic display that pulsed with life. That's great. It means we might have the resource. Is for re-establishing a colony, something to nurture, to grow. She smiled at Karina, whose enthusiasm was contagious, but in the back of her mind lay the troubling data streaming in from the colony's communications. Yet as Amina busied herself with her team, they continued to make surprising discoveries. The air grew charged around the command room, not only with the anticipation of landing, but also with the blossoming relationships between them. Karina and Logan engaged in good-natured banter, trading good-natured pointers on malfunctioning equipment and complex biological systems. Divan's laughter rang like a melody as he teased Karina about her obsession with the newly discovered organism, joking about it trying to take over the world. Their laughter hung in the air, intermingled with the ever-looming uncertainty of their mission, a moment of light splintering the weight of concern. Eventually, the Elysium neared the planetary surface, and they felt the ship shudder gently as it broke through the atmosphere. Amina's heart raced with anticipation and anxiety. At the forefront of her mind was the expectation of discovering a thriving colony, teeming with life and stories of resilience. Instead, what lay before them was a stark contrast from the vibrant image. Her imagination conjured the landing site appeared beneath a low-hanging mist, revealing a landscape shrouded in a muted glow. Gigantic trees with billowing canopies swayed rhythmically as if whispering secrets to one another. A distant mountain range rose majestically behind them, casting shadows on the lonesome valley, a stark reminder that beauty can emerge from chaos. As they completed their landing procedure, Amina felt a deep connection to the place. Everything here breathed life, from the flora to the uncharted waters flowing near by. It was a juxtaposition, the tranquil beauty holding swathes of desperation within itself. Deploying the lander, Amina said, breaking the reverie as the team fell into analytical focus again. She touched the calm button, trying to steady her voice. Let's get down there. Remember to keep your sits sealed. Divan's exuberance shined through once more as he loaded up the coordinates for the lander. A grin plastered across his face, ready to meet the locals. Captain, I hope they're friendly. We can't know until we venture out, Amina remarked, her heart pounding in her chest, full of an emotion she cowled and quite name after confirming systems were all green. The crew gathered their gear. Amina watched her team, a vibrant motley crew of resilience and hope. They ventured into this vibrant new world, unaware of how their hearts and minds would be tested, nor how they would flourish amid adversity. The lander descended gently onto the surface dust billowing momentarily before sinking into the rich earth. Each member of the crew felt a shared sense of purpose as they prepared to step out into the unknown together. Amina pushed through the hatch first, stepping into the fresh, humid air, a sharp contrast from the sterile environment of their ship. The vibrancy of colors around them ignited a spark within her. There was a richness in the air, a promise of life. Ferns curled like delicate sculptures, while bioluminescent flowers pulsed softly like hearts in the dusk. For a moment, Amina felt as if they had landed on another planet altogether, where every sight stimulated curiosity and wonder. "Okay, everyone," she said, pulling her mind back to their mission. "We need to get moving in a radius around the landing site to get a sense of where the colony is and to triangulate their coordinates. It's based on what we've received." The crew dispersed, exploring this new world while remaining within proximity of each other. Karina dashed toward the eye-catching glow of a near-by bush, oblivious to the tugging instinct of caution she ought to feel. Logan shadowed her closely, unable to resist the allure of what they might uncover together. "Whoa, look at this!" Karina's voice rang out, brimming with excitement. "These plants seem to communicate with the shifting winds. Listen." She paused, bending down to touch the plants whose colors shifted and danced in time with her actions. As she bent down, Ina caught a flicker of life amidst the trees. A group of strange creatures, small and radiant like living crystals, flitted between trunks. They moved in perfect harmony, their vibrant hues illuminating the dimness under the trees. It was enchanting, an ecosystem alive with motion and purpose, unaware of the human crew nervously edging their way into its midst. "I've never seen anything like that," Divin whispered, peering wide-eyed at the tiny beings, equally entranced by their beauty. "We might discovered a whole new species of life right here for the first time," which felt like an eternity. Laughter and joy flowed freely among them like a cascading river. The worries of failed communications, their mission, and the looming darkness melted into the symphony of nature surrounding them in this moment. They were explorers, innocent adventurers adrift in uncharted worlds. However, fleeting happiness clung delicately to uncertainty, like gossamer threads about to snap, as they journeyed deeper into the landscape. Amina's instincts kept whispering that something was nigh. She felt it in the hushed and still air. Their exploration soon revealed unexpected treasures, a field of flowers stretching over rolling hills, each petal displaying an iridescent hue that mirrored the stars overhead. Amina glanced around, filled with gratitude at the sight, able for once to shift focus from the task at hand. After taking a deep breath, she closed her eyes and drank in the moment, allowing the soothing ambience of the world to wash over her like waves. But just then, amid the serenity, her device hummed a disquieting tone. The need to rush back was palpable, yet here in this paradise, they were tempted to linger. The growing urge scratched at the periphery of Amina's mind. She unclipped her device deliberately, hoping to quell the spark of worry she felt for the colony. There was nothing they could. Now, they had to trust in one another. "Hey," Logan's voice broke through her reflection, pulling her focus back to the present. "Look at this flower." He held out a bloom he had found, a shimmering blue, its soft petals glowing and pulsing with a light born of life. "It's sending signals in the ground. I think these might be communicating with each other. This is incredible." Amina leaned in closer to examine the delicate petals. The warmth of connection sparked between Logan and Karina over their shared enthusiasm, illuminating their team with unexpected flashes of brilliance, like the very life teeming around them. But beneath that brilliance, the weight of their task loomed heavily. The need to reach the colony, find the truth behind their silence, and unravel the darkness awaiting them. Each moment of connection, every shared laughter, held the potential for sacrifice, for in the joyous sounds of discovery lay the tension of what would soon unfold. As the sun began its descent behind the horizon, casting a soft glow over the vibrant land, Amina called her crew together again. The laughter faded into an unsteady reverence as they gathered beneath the shadows of the massive trees interlacing above them. We need to tune in. The colony's frequencies one more time before night falls, Amina said, holding their attention. We don't know when the next opportunity might be available. The crew nodded, their smiles fading as they readied themselves to return to the weighty task of their mission. But before they could move, something shifted behind them. A rustle in the foliage that sent shivers trailing down their spines. The shadowy dance of shapes flickered momentarily, and for a heart beat it felt as if the world had held its breath. Did you see that? Divin asked, voice low, confusion dancing in the depths of his gaze. Amina turned at the sound, a tiny gnat of panic forming in her stomach. We need to stay together, she urged, every instinct urging them closer. Yet it was Karina who peeled off, her curiosity piqued by the movement. I'll just take a quick look, she announced, a whisper of determination threading her words. Karina, Logan called out, a warning lacing his voice as he reached for her arm, but she was already stepping forward, unaware of the tension creeping in her enthusiasm overriding her caution. It was a fleeting moment, one that seemed to stretch and fold into itself, drawing Ivorion's attention. The world felt alive and vibrant, still yet underlined by uncertainty. Amina sought the warmth of connection against the chill of worry. Stay close, she called, but as Karina moved further into the thicket, the moment dragged. Something wobbled just out of sight, glimmer of vivid color blending with shadow. Then, without warning, the rush of dark forms broke and scattered into the underbrush like a startled cloud of birds. The moment shattered the stillness. Ina's heart raced as she fought against the urge to charge forward after them. When the shadows faded, only silence greeted it, her pulling the crew into a gaping tension. They gathered back together, close, feeling both the weight of palms and shoulders, the warmth of each heart. But Amina felt the power of community wash over her, a tide that connected them all, reassuring her that together they could withstand what lay ahead. It was important, the connections they made here in this moment of uncertainty. Let's return to the ship, she finally said, her voice steadying against the undercurrent of fear. Well, tune back in, gather our strengths, and prepare to find the colony first thing in the morning. Head nods punctuate it, her instructions together again in a unified desire for understanding and safety. As they embarked on their journey back to the Elysium, the glow of starlight mingled with that of the colony's intermittent signals, promising both heart-wrenching conflict and profound moments of discovery. Amina felt the weight of what they would face pressing in around her, but with each step along the path, she also felt the unyielding band they had formed together, propelling her forward through the darkness. Each individual at her side radiated a sense of determination, fueled by hope. As the crew boarded the ship, she gathered her team close once more. From this moment on, we stand together, she declared. We hold the light against whatever darkness lies before us, and we will find the truth. The shadows of uncertainty danced around them, but Ina refused to shy from the warmth of connection that linked them together in the quiet embrace of hope and courage. They prepared themselves to face the mysteries of Galadoran Eye, and wherever the journey would lead them next, the stakes were higher than ever, their resolve flickering like the distant stars. But within the luminosity of their unity lay the promise that no matter how the storm might rage, they would journey through it together, with that unbreakable band pressing their hearts. A determined hope blossomed as they braced themselves for the challenge awaiting them and stepped forward into the swath of darkness that called for them. The dawn slowly unfurled over Galadoran Eye, bringing with it soft hues of golden light that crept through the forest canopy, casting dappled patterns upon the ground. The air was rich with the fragrance of alien flora and the gentle hum of life awakening in this vibrant world. Amina stood at the helm of the Elysium, observing the beauty of her surroundings as the first rays gathered warmth around her. The evening before had been tumultuous. They had boarded the ship, uncertainty lingering like a haze in their minds yet now standing amidst this alien stillness. Her heart brimmed with a determination that anchored her spirit. She had known fear and vulnerability, but she also felt the cradle of hope growing within her. It was time to forge ahead and uncover the truth of the colony's silence. As the crew began to assemble in the command room, the buzz of shared energy filled the space. There was a lightness to the air, and even amidst their trepidation, laughter echoed in warm bursts as Karina animatedly described the bioluminescent plants they had encountered. Her enthusiasm ignited a spark of curiosity in everyone else, drawing them in. Discussions of what they would discover today. A cowl, and help but smile. She caught a glimpse of Divin leaning against a console, his fingers deftly scrolling through data streams, but his attention was on Karina, matching her enchantment with the wilderness despite the shadows that had brushed against them. They all felt an invisible force pulling them together, their bond growing stronger with every shared moment. All right, team, she said, gathered together, adrenaline rippling through her voice. Our goal today is to locate the colony, decipher the cryptic message we received, and understand what truly happened. Well, split into two teams and search the immediate area while maintaining regular communication with the Elysium. Logan, with his typically practical demeanor, chimed in. And let's not only keep an eye out for the colony, it'd be good to gather samples and document the native life here, while we can. If something went wrong, we need to understand what it was shaped by. Right, good point. Logan. Amina agreed, impressed with his thoroughness. She exchanged glance with Karina, who nodded, her excitement shimmering in the golden light. Let's this, Divin exclaimed, the twinkling of mischief in his eyes. First team to discover life wins. The lightness buzzed like electricity, energizing everyone around. The morning unfolded with determination etched into their face, each step driven by shared purpose. As they ventured away from the Elysium, Amina felt the mingling of anticipation and anxiety pulse through her veins. They trekked through the lush underbrush, where glimmering flowers swayed in the breeze, blooming in intricate patterns. Nature's orchestra beckoned them, each sound a language of its own, yet beneath the alluring beauty lingered the essence of danger. Karina and Logan led one team, exchanging joyful laughter as they wove their way through the foliage, cataloging plants and analyzing emerging life forms. They shat playful remarks at each other, their camaraderie shining bright against the backdrop of uncertainty. Amina and Divin formed the second team, pushing into another direction, sticking close to the edge of the forest. The remnants of light filtered through the thriving leaves above them, allowing everything to glow in ethereal shades. Divin glanced in her direction, mischief dancing in his eyes. So, Captain, are you ready to find a colony, or are you secretly hoping to find the next big thing in space? Cuisine, Amina chuckled, the sound flowing like warm honey. Have to admit, a new recipe might be enticing to consider, but right now reuniting with those colonists is my priority. She cast her gaze over the deep thickets stretching as far as the eye could see, a tapestry woven with vibrant reds, blues and greens that emanated life with every passing moment. They immersed themselves deeper within the landscape and began piecing together the mysteries surrounding the colonies. Past the whispers in the dark seemed to twine with reflection, revealing choices that had affected their present reality. Yet the joy of exploration buoyed them like a life raft in a sea of uncertainties. Hours flowed, hanging suspended like the golden light pouring through leaves. But no signs of the colony emerged. Disappointment simmered in Amina's chest, a precarious ache echoing beneath the excitement they'd shared. She kept her resolve, closing her eyes and envisioning every successful step they'd taken in the labeling of experience. Hold up. Divin paused just ahead, his voice rising above the gentle hum. I think I just found something. He dashed ahead, disappearing in thick brush. Is his energy a tangible force compounding Ina's own growing curiosity? She hurried after him to find him kneeling beside a gleaming patch of iridescent stones. Look at this, he called, excitement radiating from his voice, and Amina leaned over, inspecting what seemed to Be hundreds of stones glinting in hues of deep purple and luminous whites. The stones pulsed rhythmically, faint vibrations defying the stillness of the forest. Could these be? Amina began, her heart racing. We might be on't. Something big, Divin interrupted with, all pointing toward the larger formations clustered together. This could be a mineral deposit. It linked to their biosystem. If we can sample these, it might provide clues to their ecosystem and their methods for survival. As they gathered samples in small vials, Amina felt a flicker ignite within her. This could weave a thread of understanding between them and the colonists who had gone silent, but still a lingering were. He nudged at her heart. What if they were running out of time? While Logan and Karina were photographing alien flora, capturing vivid moments of this other worldly beauty, and suddenly Karina's voice rang clear through the comms. You guys should come over here. I think we found a trail. Amina and Divin exchanged glance. Is adrenaline pulling as they sprinted toward Karina's enthusiastic calls, hurriedly mocking their direction. After several moments of running through the thick greenery, they broke into a clearing. A domed, transparent structure appeared among the trees, partially overtaken by nature's embrace. Their breaths caught in unison, filled with wonder and trepidation. The enormous structure pulsed gently, a vibrational whisper echoing back toward them, as if it were alive. This must be the colony, Divin murmured. All flooding his voice, Amina approached cautiously, her heart pounding, but fear mixed with a sense of euphoria gathering her crew. They positioned themselves in front of the towering entrance, fleeting shadows shifting from within. She took a deep breath, steadying her resolve one last time. Let's go, she said, nodding toward the entrance with courage radiating. They stood together now, side by side, hearts beating in unified rhythm as they stepped forward through the structure's threshold. The sensation enveloped them, an electrifying mix of anticipation. Simmering beneath their skin inside, they were greeted by the dim, filtered light cascading from the walls. The domed space looked eerily neat with functioning units and systems lining the rings of this biomechanical structure. It felt strangely essence-driven, teeming with life, yet oddly empty. Then a gentle rustle echoed in the silence, reverberating with a heart beat. Amina sprang forward instinctively, her heart leaping as she braced for confrontation. Hello, she called, voice trembling slightly in response. Shadows flickered to life, revealing shapes that wavered, fluctuating against the soft lighting. And as they emerged, Amina's breath caught in her throat. Before them stood an ensemble of the colonists, disheveled but alive, their features lined with exhaustion, but ignited with the spark of humanity. Their eyes widened in surprise, fear, and an overwhelming sense of relief washed over their features. Who are you? One of them spoke, stepping forward, hands raised defensively. Ina searched her heart for the right words. We're from the Elysium, she said, voice fusing warmth and reassurance. As we received your message, we came to help. The colonists exchanged wary looks, but the fear began to melt in the face of their desperation. The tension within the air shifted, and through that development, Amina witnessed empathy blossom. What happened? Divin asked, but his tone was gentler now. An invitation for connection. A haggard woman stepped forward, her hair tangled, staying strength evident in her gaze. The planet changed, she began, gravel tinging her tone. We expected trouble, but nothing prepared us for the storm shacks that took us by surprise. We just lost contact with the Elysium. It seemed like we were abandoned. Ina felt the weight of her heart as her compassion reached for the frightened face. Is around her, they had not turned their backs on hope. Instead, hope had slipped the shadows of fate as they clung to survival. We are here now, Karina insert. It's stepping boldly beside Amina, and we want to understand what you went through. We want to help. As she spoke, Ina marveled at the resilience radiating from Karina, which had flickered in each crew member throughout their journey. It invigorate them, pushing shadows into the corners of darkness. As the colonists began to share their story over the next hour, they gathered the colony's narrative, each detail that unwound, revealing stories of bravery, despair, growth, and connection. They learned about their struggles to adapt and survive in a world that seemed to shift under their feet. Through it all, moments of kindness threaded between the exploration of their tribulations. Amina and her crew began sharing their knowledge, their experience is from Earth, filling the room with stories of resilience amid ignorance. Each shared moment broke down barriers, creating bridges of connection and understanding. What blossomed in those moments was a tapestry of shared humanity, interwoven with grief and triumph, where kindness became a balm for the wounds they had all endured. In the gentle light that enveloped them, Ina witnessed the strength of community impact. It was a powerful force, igniting a new flame that shimmered with the promise of a shared future. As the sun began to dip low on the horizon, draping the world with dusk, Amina glanced around the room, mingling emotions, radiating warmth. The survivor's face is transformed from anxious apprehension in bright beacons of hope. Where do we go from here? One of the colonists hesitantly asked, a flicker of vulnerability breaking through their demeanor. Together, Amina replied resolutely, a weight leaving her heart. We will rebuild, we will learn from one another, and we can forge a new path through this setback. You will not be alone in that atmosphere. A sense of purpose returned, revitalizing the air like a breath filled with renewed possibility. The colonists gathered close, eyes flickering with warmth and encouragement, reclaiming their sense of belonging in both communities of Earth and Galadorn. Amina's heart swelled as she exchanged glances with her crew, recognizing the transformative power of kindness that echoed across the lengths of time and separation. They had faced adversities unprecedented, yet they had proven that hope could bridge the vast gaps of distance that isolated them. Out in the expanse of the universe, bonds would form, nurturing connections stitched together through empathy in adversity. They were not alone, they were part of something far greater. As evening solidified around them, the space is filled with laughter, stories, and shared experience. His animated conversations draped over everyone, blending their triumphs into dreams that beckoned for the dawn. Amina could hardly believe how far they had come from the crisis. They resembled a living tapestry built of strength, woven through moments of connection, empathy, and perseverance. By the time the stars began to twinkle against the velvet sky, they had restructured the very fabric of their existence, tying together their cultures through deliberation and hope. Amina stepped outside a moment, feeling the night's embrace wash over her. She inhaled the scent of earth and sky, the very cargo of life on this world intertwined with hers as it had become theirs. Captain Divin chimed, breaking through her reverie as he joined her outside. What do you think about naming this place? It deserves an identity, a fresh start. Her heart leapt at the thought. A new beginning. I think we can reflect on that. How about hopes landing? Divin's eyes shimmered with enthusiasm, a grin stretching across his face. Perfect. This is where we all found each other again, where optimism illuminated our journey in the darkest of time, with the echo of laughter still reverberating through the clearing. Amina felt her heart swell with love for the bonds formed amidst their struggle. They would memorialize this moment as they built pathways into the unknown, tying future hopes and dreams into history. With every twinkling star above, she marveled at how they had expanded beyond the journeys they had begun alone. Each member of the crew stood with her, now interlinked in spirit, threading life into their existence. Together, they would navigate the conundrum of this universe and breathe life into their story, a tale woven of kindness, resilience, and unshakable bands. Finally, Ina glanced around at her crew. Their face is alight with determination, hope, and resolve, now linked with their found community. Let us cherish this moment, she declared, voice strong and unwavering. Let us remember what we've fought through, and the bonds well keep, and let this place hold our stories as we forge ahead together along this wondrous journey. And as the stars glittered above, they shared smiles and laughter, taking the spirit of hopes, landing within each of their hearts, ushering in the dawn of a new beginning.